So once we have finished modeling all the events, documenting all the events, let's go and take a look at this event over here again. A customer asks for a product, and we've created the business process diagram. We've attributed some data. You remember the business data rules. We have written a narrative for it. You remember how we did that. We've identified objects. Remember that an object has to consist of 2 or more data attributes. We've gone through the business rules table and generated the business rules. And we've done that for all of the events for a project. You know, we may have done that for 25, 30 events. Most projects don't have more than 25 to 50 events, so it's not that horrendous a job. So once that has been done, it becomes a matter of packaging it, putting it together in a cohesive document. You'll recall earlier that we talked about a document that becomes the business requirements document. And here we have a real one. You notice that it's not very big. It has a few pages. This one here has 78 pages, which sounds like a lot, but it's nothing compared to the Victorian novels that are often produced for business system specifications. But you know, there isn't any technology architecture in here. There isn't a solution design. There isn't a way of implementing it. It's a statement of what's required so as solution designers, the technical team, can then look at it and say, what's the best way of doing this? And it could be a couple of different good ways of doing things. But we have to package this. And before we package it, there are a couple of other things that have to be done. What we've done so far is the 3rd item on this list. That document consists of a set that includes all the business process diagrams and everything related to those business process diagrams, such as the object definitions, such as the data attributes, such as the business rules, and so forth. But we have a couple of other options in terms of information we've got to include. We may want to include what we call a business area diagram. And that shows which departments share information, who shares what with whom, and who keeps things internal in an organization. So we may want to look at that as well. We certainly want to have a business interfaces diagram. Some people call that a context diagram. This is the highest level, the most abstract level. It's a single picture that shows the project, the system, and what its interfaces would be to its outside world. We'll take a look at that in just 1 second. Let's just talk about that business area diagram for a moment. The business area diagram is a picture of who communicates with whom, who shares data, what kind of information, where do they get it from, where does it go to, what's unique to a business area, and so forth. And it shows the corporate data sharing in a client-friendly diagram. And you can read all about that in detail in the Mastering Business Systems Analysis textbook. And let me just move the slide forward here. Building that business area diagram is relatively straightforward. It's not complicated, because you've done all the hard work at this point. Now it's a matter of just organizing the information. So we identify the business areas. You've already done that when you've done the business process diagrams. We allocate processes, the individual processes, to the different business areas. So for example, a single process like this would be allocated to a business area. There would be a business area that does this. And it's possible there could be more than one business area that does this. You determine the business areas in which the objects are used as well. And you look at the sharing of data. Now you can read all about this in terms of how to do it in the Mastering Business Systems Analysis textbook in section 8.2. Finally, there's the business interfaces diagram. For every project, you want to be able to have this. Okay? This is a single diagram that shows what information is sent to the outside world and what information is received from the outside world for a project. Okay? So it illustrates the net flow of data in and out of the system, if you like. And this is really, really good for management reviews. One of the things that often happens in management reviews or presentations of work done on a project is that somebody comes along with a presentation, takes a long time, gets very complicated, looks at all the details, and nobody really wants to see all that stuff, except for that one person in the room who wants all the details and more. So this is a really good way of presenting everything about the project. You can simply walk through this and say, look, for this transplant organs reservation distribution information system, we receive organ requests from member hospitals, and so on. You can walk through just about anything in 5 minutes or less, and then simply say to the executives in the room, are there any questions? And let them find their own level of detail. Don't force the detail on them, because most of them don't really want that to happen. Here's an example, oh, let me skip one there. Here's an example of a real project. Real projects usually don't come that small. Real projects come more like this. This is a context diagram, the business interfaces diagram, for a project that consisted of about 30 events altogether. And 30 events, as you can see, can build up some complexity. So this took a few days to do. This diagram, you can, however, present, give people copies of it, and then talk to it and let them ask questions. So in the end, what you have is a business interfaces diagram, a single bubble, if you like, that shows the world of the system and how it interfaces, or what it interfaces with, to its outside world. We have the business area diagram in some cases, not in all cases, only if it's necessary. And we have the individual processes, and that all goes into the document, the business requirements document.